The Unhappy Hour on TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, my name's Brian Engelman, and this is The Unhappy Hour. You might be watching on YouTube. If you are, thank you so much. Click subscribe. Something new happened today. We started a specific channel on YouTube for sports only. So since 8 years ago when we launched The New American Media, it's been a channel with current events, politics, sports, whole bunch of interesting stuff. Now we are splitting the sports off and keeping the sports 100% sports. If you know me, you know that's a lie, because I'm going to talk about the social issues that impact the world of sports. However, everything on the new YouTube channel is going to be related to sports and ancillary issues. However, click subscribe on our flagship station, The New American Media, youtube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. However, if you're on this camera, like Mark is, like Adam is, like other people are, hello everybody. Or if you're on this camera, like I can't see who your pictures are, Autumn and other people, hi everybody. There are two private Facebook groups you need to join. One is called Strictly Indians, powered by The Unhappy Hour. The other one is called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group. They're private groups. Over 1,000 people, big groups, fun groups, active groups, constantly talking about sports. Strictly Indians is strictly Indians and baseball related stuff. And then The Unhappy Hour is the umbrella. I just want to get this out of the way because changes are coming. More content is coming. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's been a little bit of a transition with the new studio and all the stuff happening. Thanks for sticking with us. So hi to Kyle, Mark, Adam, everybody else who's watching. Please leave your comments. Joel, hello. If you want to talk the Cleveland Indians, we have somebody in who is one of the biggest baseball fans that I know. That man is my cousin, Justin Engelman. Justin, how are you today, sir?
Doing just wonderful, Brian. Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us, man. I am here to talk about the Cleveland Indians, and it's been a bit of a bummer, man. It's been a bit of a drag. I can't complain. I'm sorry, I can't lie, because I am complaining. This season has not gone very well at all. We're supposed to be excited with the All-Star game, and yes, we are kind of close to the wild card berth. We're not completely out of it, but we're a 500 team at best right now. Justin, where do you want to begin with this season?
Well, honestly, I could tell you, Brian, it was, for at least myself, it was kind of expected. I mean, what was supposed to carry us was our starting pitching, and when Kluber went down and Clevenger, I mean, what should we expect? The fact that our lineup is anemic, it is filled with holes, and we are fighting injuries left and right. I don't understand why anybody would be surprised at our current state. The fact that we let some big bats go, big middle of the lineup producers go via trade. I don't understand how anybody should be surprised the way we are playing, the way we are producing with just the product that we have. I mean, that was from the beginning. Our lineup looked horrible just from opening day. And there's names that I can't even I couldn't even tell you who they were at the beginning of the season. I never even heard of them before. And we're going from Brantley, Encarnacion, Alonso there in the middle of our lineup to Ramirez, Lindor, and Santana. And Lindor started the season off on the DL, which now is known as the IL. But anyways, but this is something that it needs to be fixed, and to me, it's not a surprise.
Well, let's walk through it. Yes, you said the disabled list is now the injured list. So the changes to this season walking in were Chief Wahoo was sold down the river by the Dolans so that they could get the All-Star game. The disabled list turned into the injured list. Okay, fine. But you touched on two things. Obviously, in baseball, there's three things. You got the management. Well, I guess you have four things. You have the management in the front office. You have the coaching staff. You have the offense and the defense. Or I guess you could say the pitchers and the positional players. Let's do it that way. Let's start with the pitchers. Talk about what happened with the starting pitchers that we have, when we expect them to come back, and if we can expect them to be at 100%, and what that's led to as a chain reaction, the domino effect of who we've seen called up, and have we seen any prospects that we're happy to have on the big league level, people that we think might be able to step in for us and produce anything consistently.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it definitely needs to come, something needs to come from the front office to spark this team. I think what we've seen just with guys like Trevor Bauer, Carlos Carrasco, we're seeing a lot of pressure on these guys to pretty much carry the rotation, carry this, I mean, not just the rotation, let's be honest, carry the whole team. Mm-hmm. The fact that Clevenger and Kluber went out, we need something that will spark this team. Look what the Twins did at the beginning of the season. They brought their ticket prices, upper level ticket prices, to they brought them down to $5. And what did that do? That put a spark in the city. Attendance started going up, and look what's happening. You know, obviously there's a lot of young talent there, but you know they're getting a lot of support from Minnesota. There was a spark there. Okay, we need something that will put a spark in this team, and whether that's a move from, you know, when we're approaching the trade deadline, getting a couple guys healthy, we need something that will spark this team. I think once we get the ball rolling and maybe add a couple pieces, bring back Kluber, get Clevenger back healthy, I think that we could see a positive momentum coming in, but we've got to do something. This is not a time to rebuild. Absolutely not a time to rebuild. We know what market we're in. We're not in a top market. The fact that we have Lindor, Ramirez, who's struggling mightily, yes, but the fact that we have these guys for the time being, this rotation, we have to keep this window of opportunity open. We cannot let it close. If we let it close, why would Lindor want to come back in a couple of years? You know, why would he want to come back to a team that, you know, won't spend the money? And we have the front office, we have the management to spend the money. We have arguably one of the best managers in baseball. I don't see how we could rebuild with him still in the picture. But we've got to do something. There's some names out there from some teams that are going straight to rebuild that we could possibly maybe go after. I think of an Adam Jones in Arizona. He's having a very good season, batting near 300. There's Kansas City Royals. This rumor just came out. There's a lot of rumors saying that anybody's on the trade market with them. I mean, they're pretty much throwing in the towel, obviously 16, 17 games out of the race. I think there's options out there that we can approach to get us back where we need to be. And Minnesota's young. I mean, who's to tell that they're going to go consistently like this throughout the season?
Yeah, they're not an established team. Now, obviously, they've had their ups and downs. They've had their moments. But lately, they haven't established that they're a consistently good team. The Indians are a team that do traditionally start off slow, and they warm up with the weather. And now the weather, you know, we're hitting into June. We're definitely into summer, past Memorial Day now, and you know, we can expect that if we follow the recent patterns, that the bats are going to start warming up a little bit. What I want to ask, what do you think about Dallas Keuchel? You know, he's still sitting there. What do you think's going on with that guy? You know, we're very thin at pitcher right now. We're bringing up Plesac. I want to get your thoughts on him. But what do you think about Dallas? Why has nobody picked him up? Do you think he even wants to play anymore? Would he fit with Cleveland? Would we spend the money for him? Would it help? Would it make any difference when the guys get healthy again? What are your thoughts with him?
You know, Keuchel is a weird, is a weird situation there with him. He's just kind of like a roller coaster. He had that Cy Young Award season. Next year he struggled mightily, and then I believe it was the year after that he had a strong year. He had a good season, and last year he struggled a little bit. So kind of up and down, up and down. I mean, I would be for that, honestly. I would be for us going out and picking him up. I just don't know if that's the glaring need we need to address is our starting pitching. You know, I think there's heavier needs that we need to address as far as our lineup, even maybe our bullpen. I just think the middle of our lineup needs some work big time, and even not just the middle of the lineup, the lower end of the lineup. Maybe Bradley Zimmer coming back might help, But we have definite needs in our outfield to address. Greg Allen, I like Greg Allen, but I don't think he is in a spot yet to give us the numbers we need. Same with Tyler Naquin, battling injuries, having him out there. Leonis Martin. I just don't think these guys are going to carry us anywhere in the playoffs. We need to fill these holes in our outfield and get some offensive production. The fact that we have a Plesac who comes in and, is pitching phenomenal and we don't give him any run support, that's been the story all year. And it's starting to carry over to our defense. Our defense is struggling. We saw that in Bauer's start a couple days ago. We need to get the ball rolling and get some pieces in this lineup, and very quickly. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. What about Mercado? He was one of those prospects. It was rumored for a minute, well, if we don't start hitting, we're going to see him. Okay, we saw him. Now it's like, well, who else do we have down there that we can bring up? Because nobody up here wants to hit above 220. What do you make of this prospect?
I like Mercado. Honestly, I don't see why he wasn't brought up even sooner. I don't see any better options we have there in the outfield. I like Mercado. He's batting near 300. Mm-hmm. He has speed. I like Mercado. He had a phenomenal spring and spring training in Arizona. I like Mercado. I think he's earned his spot thus far. I mean, batting near 300, hits the gaps. Seems like he could be a double machine. I like Mercado.
And let's say something positive, because there's a lot of negatives with this team, and I was starting to allude to it, and I kind of went on I made a pivot and went a different direction. But I was going to say how our team usually starts slow. As of a week or two ago, we had a better record than we had during our 2016. To start that year. Obviously, when you go and win 20 plus in a row, it changes things. But, we've definitely gone off the deep end since then. But we're not too far back from the wild card berth. This isn't a completely lost season yet, but we're looking for signs of life. Occasionally we'll get an 8-run game. Occasionally we'll get some sparks and go, hey, we got a 2-game winning streak, and that's over. But I did want to say something good that the Indians did in the offseason. You got to say Carlos Santana's doing pretty strong, because we got rid of Edwin. We kind of did the swap. And what are your thoughts on watching Carlos this year? Pleasantly surprised?
Yeah,
pretty happy?
I completely agree with that. I think his production is what's kept us where we are. From further destruction, I think that was a really good addition. I like Carlos Santana. But I know I'm kind of stating the obvious here, it's just not enough, but I like that addition. I think he's having a strong year, and I think that's something that, could continue. And the thing is, though, Brian, we have to realize, I think a lot of what factored into Ramirez's recent success is the protection he had in the middle of the lineup. When you have guys like Encarnacion, you have guys like Brantley, you have guys like Alonso, who didn't really have that great of a year, but you have guys like that in the middle of the lineup, you're going to be pitched differently. Ramirez is going to be pitched differently. Lindor's going to be pitched differently. And we need more protection for them in the middle of that lineup. Santana it's great, but it's not enough.
It's not enough, and I'm so...
I know what you're saying. I like the addition of him, and, it's good to see that he's having a good year, possibly an all-star season so far.
Yeah, looking at the all-star matchups, it's like, geez, who are we even going to have representing ourselves this season? Frankie didn't play to start, and, there's still more voting to go, but, man, we got to have a little bit more representation than almost nothing. I'm so glad you talked about that with Jose Ramirez. I've watched people talking about, J-Ram, and just, he looks lost out there. He's trying to yank everything. He's just doesn't seem to have a plan. He's not taking pitches. I really think you nailed it. I think what we're seeing out of Jose Ramirez is a direct effect of not having Brantley and not having Edwin Encarnacion and not having, Gomes and Alonso in there. go through the players that we got rid of and how they're doing this season, because we talk about the front office and the genius of the Cleveland Indians front office. What are the players that we let go doing for their other teams respectively? And I saw Jay Bruce, that was a year or two ago, but I saw he got moved again a couple days ago too. But what did we lose? Remind everybody what we gave up.
One name that comes to mind is Yandy Diaz. He's batting 300 with Tampa. I know he wasn't with us the whole season, but I think we might have given up on him just a little too early. I mean, he looks like a monster in the batter's box, and he's so much upside. I thought with Diaz, he's batting 300, doubles machine. I mean, he's looking really good. Urshela was a couple of years ago. We got rid of him. He's batting almost 400 with the Yankees.
Wow.
From third base, and that's not even his strength per se. It's his defense, his glove. I mean, I've seen him make plays at third base I've never seen in my life. And I'm not being over dramatic there.
Out of a third baseman, you mean? Out of a third baseman, because you saw Omar Vizquel and some of these other guys.
Oh, correct.
Okay.
From a third baseman standpoint, I've seen him make plays that I really haven't seen anyone else make. I mean, a jump step throw from third to nab a guy at home is one that comes to mind. But, we got Urshela, Diaz. I mean, obviously Brantley's having an all-star caliber season. Encarnacion, I think, already has 15, 16 home runs. Alonso, not really making a lot of noise there, but I mean, that's a lot of production from the middle of the lineup. And we just kind of let it all go. In the offseason, thinking that a Lindor, Ramirez pitching staff would carry us. And I guess Santana, I think they probably were expecting a little bit more out of Jake Bauers at first base. But he's young. There was talks that you could start the season off in AAA. So I don't understand what you're exactly expecting from something like that. He's batting around 200, has some power, but I don't think the replacements they brought in, is near enough for what we lost.
I mean, in the people in the Unhappy Hours sports show support group, in the group in Facebook, all season long, before the year started, all off season, just saying, we're just hemorrhaging money. We're throwing away money. The Dolans are awful owners. They're trying to make money on an investment. You need to spend money to make, you have to spend it. They're trying to put money back in their pockets each year, and I thought they got an investor to come in and help them spend, and that was for one run, and one run at a World Series, and now we're back to this. I mean, people were begging and screaming, just saying, this team is going to be a nightmare. There's no offense. There's nobody that can swing the sticks on this roster right now. Tell me what you said about Michael Brantley, by the way. But before we got going, you talked about how long we stayed with him with his injuries. Expand on that for a second, because that's a really good point, and I don't understand the move either.
At the end of last season, I'm looking at Brantley, I'm looking at the situation, and I'm asking myself, should we bring him back? And today, should they bring him back? But just due to, the reason that question comes to mind is just due to his injury history. I mean, he wasn't even on that 2016 playoff run.
Yeah.
He's missed a lot of time. But one thing I think we have to put in perspective is the upside we saw last season, the all-star season that he had, and I think we could have got him very affordable. Like, the Astros didn't pay much for him. I feel like he wanted to come back to Cleveland, or he definitely would have. He said multiple times how much he enjoys Cleveland, he likes Cleveland. That's all he's known. Santana said the same thing. I think we could have got him back at an affordable price. The reward would have definitely outweighed the risk. If that makes sense. I think what we could have brought him back at the asking price I mean, I know it's easy to say that with what he's doing in Houston now, but I think the upside we saw from last year would have been enough reasoning to bring him back.
Yeah,
That might just be me, but he had a strong season last year, stayed healthy consistently throughout the year.
He was very recently a number three in the MVP voting, consistently around a 300 average, getting on base so that other people can knock in the runs, putting pressure on the other team's pitching staff. He's been no off the field troubles. I mean, it's not like Houston broke the bank to get him, right?
Absolutely not. And he's a pure hitter. That's one thing I enjoyed watching for so long, was just his, why he even got his nickname, Dr. Smooth, just a smooth hitter. So we know what he's capable of. The fact that he stayed healthy throughout the whole season last year, I think that was a more glaring mistake and error than getting rid of an Encarnacion, or Diaz, whatever. But I don't know. I think he made a big mistake there.
Well, you already mentioned a few players that we might want to keep our eye on. Adam Jones, and I brought up Keuchel. What do you see happening between now and the All-Star break? I mean, at what point does this team have to decide if they're going to continue to try to compete or to throw in the towel and do a hardcore rebuild and dump all, what are your thoughts?
I think we need to cut ties with Kipnis. I think we go out. A guy I really like is Diedrich with Cincinnati. He's having a great season. He's from Cleveland. He's having a great year. Looking at his numbers, he's hitting for power. He's hitting for production. He has 17 home runs. He's batting 270, almost 40 RBIs. I think he would be a great option there at second base. Get some better experience. I like Jason Kipnis, but I think it's just time maybe to cut ties with him. Not hold on to a nostalgia to keep him in.
What would that look like, getting rid of Kipnis? It's. I mean, he's not really lighting it up. It's not like he has a ton of suitors right now.
We got rid of Encarnacion and Brantley. Brantley's been with us the whole ride. Why? So obviously that's not. I guess we didn't get rid of him, but we lost him in free agency. But at the same time, Kipnis, he's battled injuries just as much. Almost as much as a Brantley. So I think it's time to cut ties. We need more production somewhere, and obviously the outfield is a glaring hole. But I like Diedrich at second. We could go and get him from Cincinnati. I know they're only about 6.5 games out, but let's be realistic. Do we actually see them having a pennant race here in the summer? I don't think so. They have Yasiel Puig, in right field. Looking at Kansas City, Jorge Soler is having a good year. A lot of power there. I think we could address the errors, or the holes rather, in our lineup, and we got to keep this window of opportunity open. We saw what happened in the mid-2000s after those great 90s teams. We don't want that again. We got to keep this window of opportunity open with the Lindor, Ramirez, the starting pitching, which are arguably the best in the bigs when healthy. I think we have to use this. And we know what starting pitching can do in a playoff run, and how much of a threat that can be and could offer. So I think when we have all these pieces in place, we fill some holes, I think we could be a threat. We get hot at the right time. We have Tito Francona leading the hell. I think we need to address these holes, and I honestly do not think that a rebuild is an option whatsoever.
Well, there's also people talking about, should we have traded some of our pitchers at the peak, kind of like we did with Cliff Lee, right, and like we did with Sabathia. Maybe we should have done that with Kluber. Do you see us moving? Because Trevor Bauer, I guess he has a bet that he's only going to sign 1-year deals now for the rest of his career, or something like that. I mean, do you think a small market team like the Indians might eventually get sick of that with Trevor Bauer and try to move him? Do you think we'll? I mean, do you see us moving any of our pitchers? Let me ask you that.
I'm glad we did not move any of these pieces. A lot of, fans are saying we should have gotten rid of Kluber, especially when he went down, the injury. These are things that happen that aren't their fault. The fact they get hit by a comebacker, that's not on them.
Well, Trevor Bauer's drone might be on him a little bit. I got to say that's on him. All right.
Let's not bring that up. But had to bring that up, didn't it?
Now I threw you all off. No, but I mean, what I'm getting at is, do you think we're going to be able to trade and get some talent, get some bats in the lineup without having to deal some of our big league talent? Do you think we have anything on the shelves, on the cupboards that teams are going to want down in AAA where we could afford to keep what we have, or do you think there's something we might have to get rid of to do so?
I think we definitely have enough pieces in the minor league system to make some moves. One name that comes to mind is that shortstop chain that we offered in the Lucroy deal in 2016. I mean, we're in 2019, but where's he at? I mean, we have Lindor for the next few years at shortstop. I think we definitely have enough pieces in our farm system to make some moves. I don't think we should part ways with our pitching. That's what's going to, in some sense, make up for maybe not as strong of a lineup when we get in the postseason. I think we have a team that is going to make the postseason if we address some of these holes, address some of these needs. You would hope that Ramirez eventually is going to start hitting, and get him some protection there. I think we should keep our rotation the way it is. Implement maybe some of these young guys in our bullpen, like a Plesac. I don't think we should part ways with a Bauer or a Kluber. Absolutely not. I don't think you should part ways with a Cy Young, top of the rotation starter who's been as consistent as Kluber has. And then we get rid of him. He goes to a Boston. He goes to a New York, and it looks like, Sandy Koufax and is unhittable. Leads them to a World Series. I could see that happening in a heartbeat. Something like that. Some crazy story like that happening to the Indians. But I think we need to relax a little bit. It's a little early. We just came into June, but at the same time, we need to be aggressive come trade deadline. We get these starters back, Clevenger, Kluber. I think they'll start to help Carrasco and Bauer pitch better. Take some pressure off. But we need to address these holes and move forward. And I think we could catch Minnesota.
Minnesota's been hot. They're going to have to cool off a little bit if we're going to do so. But, hey, while we're talking about the moves that we made in the offseason, you just reminded me. Let's check in real quick with some of the relief pitchers that we got rid of, that we didn't bring back last year. Our closer, Andrew Miller. How have these guys been doing?
Andrew Miller's been struggling. My dad saw him pitch in Texas when St. Louis was there. He said a lot of his windup is different. Looks like a totally different picture. That's sad. Andrew Miller was. We all saw what happened, and he was unhittable. It almost reminds me of a Jose Mesa situation. When he had that run in 95, 96, and then kind of came down in 97. He was just nearly unhittable. And it's sad to see Miller in that. I loved Andrew Miller. I love Miller. I thought that was the coolest thing, bringing what was like a Randy Johnson type relief pitcher in. Cody Allen, he's not really doing much. I'm not looking at his numbers right now, but he's not making much noise there in Anaheim. So, I think the Mejia trade is definitely right now benefiting Cleveland. He's not doing much over in San Diego. Brad Hand is probably our only definite all-star right now. So he's anchoring that into that bullpen. So I think we're getting the benefit of that trade as of right now. But
you win some, you lose some. Like I'm glad we didn't bring Miller back, and I'm glad that we got Santana back. But on the flip side, looking at Alonso and Brantley, and it's tough. You can't go 100%. It's tough to be undefeated when you're making so many darn roster moves and decisions. But we do have a chance in the wild card, and if we have hot pitching, we have a chance. But the past 2 years we've been bounced pretty quick by both the Yankees and the Astros. It's like when you run into teams that can hit. I know we have great pitching, but man, it certainly wasn't enough the last 2 years. So give me a reason to hope, Justin. Paint a picture. Paint me a good picture.
I say we approach trade deadline aggressive. We go make some moves. We get Zimmer back healthy. We get Clevenger and Kluber back healthy, and make a couple moves. Bring in a big name. Put a fire into our fan base. Get some fans in the seats, and make a run in the summer. Make a summer run. I think it's totally possible. It's doable. I cannot fathom us rebuilding and parting ways with. Who are you going to part ways with? Maybe Kluber, Bauer.
Well, remember what our management.
You're not going to trade Lindor or Ramirez.
Really? Remember what our management said this offseason. They said enjoy him. What an awful thing to say. Enjoy him.
It's a horrible thing to say, but Dolan needs to look at himself in the mirror and say, yeah, enjoy this window of opportunity, and we need to capitalize on it now. And yeah, exactly. Enjoy this window of opportunity and go make some moves to get us back in the World Series. You can't say that to the fan base, enjoy it, because forget about getting them back. You can't say that. Are the odds against us? Maybe. We all know that. Why are you throwing that in our face? Go make some moves and get us back in the World Series and turn the tide for the city of Cleveland when it comes to baseball. Quit worrying about this PC crap with Chief Wahoo and whether it gets us an All-Star game or not. Let's finish this thing and win a title.
Man, we were so close. So close in 2016. So close, my man. So close. I really thought we had it after that home run from Davis. I thought it was over.
Me too, man.
And then God started crying on the city of Cleveland. That rain delay changed it all. But yeah, that's how close you can get. I just shared something from 2001. It was the Diamondbacks playing the Yankees, and I know you commented on it. And bottom of the ninth, down by 1 run, and the Yankees blew it off Rivera. So anything can happen. I know it doesn't feel great right now. I know we're looking up at, the hottest team in baseball, essentially, with the Minnesota Twins, and it all feels lost. But I don't think it is. I think we play our best baseball in June and July, traditionally. Once we get some of that pitching. When are our pitchers expected back? How much longer before these guys are going to be taking the hill again?
Clevenger is close to his rehab start. I think this week he has a rehab start, potentially. Kluber, I'm not exactly sure on his progress, but I'm thinking maybe around the All-Star break we get him back. Hopefully these guys will help Bauer, Carrasco, because they're not pitching that great, to be quite honest, especially Carrasco. So, maybe trade Carrasco. I don't know. We need something in that lineup, because it's pitiful.
It has been. Hey, what's the latest with Salazar? My final question.
Salazar had a setback, I believe, in early May.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? You might as well spin a bottle and see where it lands and figure out what he's going to come back with. He's been out so long.
I know.
So.
And, well, there's a lot of moving pieces to a baseball team, and luckily there's 162 games each year. So, we don't have to panic. We're sitting there right around 500. Yes, we've been underachieving, but no, all is not lost. You are of the same mind that I am. No, now is not the time to rebuild and tank and gut all of our prospects or gut all of our big leaguers and try to stock the shelves for prospects. I agree with you. So let's pause for today with this Indian season. We got to hit a run. I was watching the basketball game yesterday, game 2 with the Warriors and the Raptors. And it was like a 9-point game, and then it was a 15-point. It was like a 22-point swing, whatever it was exactly. Basketball is a game of runs. You go on a run, and I think baseball is a game of runs. Obviously, there's runs that are scored in the game. That's not what I'm saying. I know there's a double entendre there, but it's a streaky sport. We saw it with the Tribe hitting, over 20 a couple years ago. I'm not saying we're going to do that again or that we need that, but we can do 7 here. We can do 5 there. We can do 9 there. We can hit a couple of these streaks throughout the rest of the year and put everything back on track. The Twins have not really proven much. They've looked good so far. They've proven that much. But, let's see if they can keep it up after the All-Star break. And on top of it, we can always get in as a wild card team, and by then maybe our pitching staff will be healthy and our aces can go up there and throw donuts, So, anyway, I digress. Justin, I want to thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your time, and we'll be back again talking Tribe again real soon, buddy. Thank you so much.
Enjoy it, Brian. Thank you.
All right, take care, pal. All right, everybody. There goes Justin. So if you have Tribe comments, type them below. Questions. If you were GM, here's your question for the day. If you're the Tribe general manager for a day, what do you do? What do you do as the Cleveland Indians general manager to turn things around? Type it below. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Peace.
It's the Unhappy Hour.